Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Price, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the third volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Laura Hamstra as Eli Sharp, and Della Borovic as Morgan Rawls. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band have encountered a malevolent entity. Valentyne confirmed that Voidstain staff were involved in the assassination. Morgan still couldn't get a read on Voidstain himself, and Attikus and Eli led the charge deep into Bolonsong manor. What will happen now that they've discovered a Chaos Space Marine in the basement? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
From the Ghost of Bolonsong Manor. You see before you in a small, dusty, stanky room a husk of a man in badly damaged armor. Again, Valentyne, you can pretty clearly assess that this is Marine armor.
Okay.
The rest of you would be able to tell that as well, obviously, from knowing Forrest Pollard. The difference here being that this armor is painted in, again, a metallic red, the heavily damaged, to be clear. Valentyne, I don't know how much you would know about heretical chapters.
He would know the legions, because that's pretty broad. When it comes to individual chapters,
would a large sigil of teeth in a circle mean anything to you?
Yeah, because that's one of the original 9, so that one really stands out. Just so I can picture exactly what Valentyne is seeing, we're talking power armor can exist for Marines and for non-Marines. This is Marine scale.
It is Marine scale armor, yes.
The Marine that is in this armor, how fragile does Marine look? Is this the Marine version fragile? Like, I'm starved, but I'm still a killing machine? Or is this...
This is, it's somewhere between that and I think what you were going to describe next, which is like a...
Desiccated skeleton man.
Yeah. So, just a, like, start, I mean, from the way you've been hearing about, you know, this ghost, like, this guy's clearly been down here a fucking long time. So he is gaunt. He's not like hardy and hale, but definitely still like in fucking Space Marine armor, just not like, I'm ready, I'm doing my part. Like, he's not gonna like hop up and start putting him foot to ass. But he's also not like so weak that he can't lift an arm. But you know, from your reconstruction thing, you can tell he's probably been leaning against this wall, hitting his helmet against it for like a while,
decades, if not centuries.
Yeah.
What weapons does he have in his hands?
He does not. And also, notably, he does not have gauntlets. He has bare hands, which are again like very pale and kind of withered. He's clutching his helmet, which has just a like the rest of it is that classic like World Eaters red, but the forehead of it has been worn down to like a shiny chrome from being bashed against this wall for a very long time. But he's taken very heavy damage. The armor itself is it's intact, but it is like badly fucked up. And the small room again has been clearly bricked in. Like he was bricked in from the other side. That said, there do seem to be provisions, or there were provisions in here, so it's not like he's just been sitting in here with no food for like hundreds of years, but a minimal amount to keep him alive. But there's no weapons at all. Just a man in armor with his helmet.
I mean, no weapons. Fucking chaos tinted son of a bitch. It's a fucking weapon.
But again, the question does come up. How much time for everyone's favorite game?
Sorry,
how
that was
much
Laura
of the
speaking.
heresy? Yes, exactly. We talked about this a bit off air, but like, how much of the heresy does everybody know?
Yeah, I think from previous conversations, we've established Attikus is not aware of the Horus Heresy, other than Valentyne has mentioned that there have been fallen angels.
Yep.
But we don't you probably don't know whether this one's dirty or not.
That's the thing but to the point of past conversations, Valentyne did take the opportunity to make it perfectly clear that if a space marine impedes our holy quest, our investigation,
Marine.
kill them. So Attikus, stunned to see a space marine on the other side of this wall, raises his fist and says, sir, because he does not know.
Okay, so you've paused with the fist raised. We got to figure out who knows what. Morgan, you've seen Chaos Space Marines.
But only specific type of Chaos Space Marine. So I know that there are Chaos Space Marines.
I bet you'd be able to call this just based on like the small embellishments
Just
around.
the look of it in
like-
general.
And it's 30K armor, I'm assuming. We're talking one of the Mark 2 to 4s instead of the current, like, beaky Marines are like Mark 6 or 8 in the modern parlance. So they're older forms. They're more kind of like boxier and medieval because there was different armor in the Heresy versus modern era Marines.
Yeah, I think that'd be safe to say.
So if we're looking at Forrest Pollard as being like a relatively modern Marine in the sense of the Space Marine video game of a Marine, this is more archaic.
I mean, his armor, he falls into an odd, like, and this is from my knowledge of like the Marines I had, where like, I wouldn't say he's like a fresh off the line suit. Forrest Pollard stuff, definitely, partially because it doesn't have the Aquila, it just has the skull in the middle. Like, it seems like an older grade, but it's certainly not a 30K.
Yeah.
30K grade. I would say that this guy's armor is actually probably closer to, he wasn't like, I don't think he was like there when Terra fell, but like I wouldn't say 30K, I'd say closer to like probably.
Yeah, the Legions, of course, have like inductees. They're still making new Marines. They slap together, cobble together bullshit on them.
So this is it's not a fully modern suit either. It is older than Forrest Pollard's, but it's not like,
not
it's not
ancient. Okay.
ancient. Yeah.
So yeah, you might know then.
Yeah. That seems in the wheelhouse of this bad.
Yeah.
Eli's never encountered a Chaos Space Marine, but because of his rank on an Imperial Navy ship and his role as Master of Arms, he had to have an awareness that that was a possibility in battle. So he is aware of their existence.
But not necessarily their appearance.
But not necessarily their appearance. He's like, I mean, it'll be Space Marine-ish, but like warped.
Yeah. I think the case I would probably make there is they likely told you that Chaos produced its own Space Marines, not like, hey, our guys, they turned around, but rather like, Chaos figured out how to make the armor.
It's not like the lore. It's just like, hey, there are like evil Space Marines.
That's it. Yeah.
And this is what we need to do to be able to fight them and protect our ships against them, but wouldn't have knowledge beyond that.
Got it.
Valentyne knows about the World Eaters. This is where I have to do like the speed math of a character who would be able to do this.
You can take some time on this. This is a big moment. So
yeah.
I will say if this guy makes like a move, Attikus will make like an executive decision.
Laugh crying with joy and muttering to his helmet.
Oh, this World Eater, Tom, because this is very important. Butcher's nails or no?
Would you be able to see those?
Butcher's nails end up looking like a weird halo of almost dreadlocks of steel interlocked links that plug into the scalp and then flow back and mount into the suit.
So they're there, but they're real damaged.
Real damaged. Okay, this is all interesting. We are now in deep cut Ryan zone, fam. So the reason this matters from like time slows and Valentyne runs through the stuff that he has both been hypno-indoctrinated about and knows in real life. World Eaters are one of the original legions. They are corn focused. They are combat monsters. The fact that this World Eater can talk at all is really strange because usually they get lost over time. They are the hand-to-hand murder machines, and the butcher's nails, which they have put in their head, means they can't feel anything except pain unless they are inflicting violence and bloodshed. Aggression is the only thing that gives them a dopamine reward. And the longer they go without it, the more those nails in their brain cause them to go further and further into physical agony to the point where they're almost seizing in pain unless they can do violence. So this is fucked up. Also, the butcher's nails slowly kill them. So it's just bad all around. This is the worst person to be in a close room with. The fact that there's a chain, like this is the one where we were like, oh, if you punch good and punch dead or nightmare. The fact that this World Eater is excited to see people is deeply confusing. He doesn't see weapons. Perhaps the most important thing, do his robot eyes see Trevor? Because what is Trevor?
Trevor is the helmet.
Trevor is the helmet.
he just keeps being like, "They found us, Trevor. They found us."
Fuck. So the reason Valentyne is very tripped up is there are answers here. And he loves answers, but they are in a tremendously deadly source. And the only person who can believably deal with this threat is Attikus.
Attikus doesn't need answers. He needs orders.
Yes, I know. That's the problem. Valentyne is going to start a goddamn conversation because that's who our ordered sociopath is.
All right, so hand raised.
He's just going to say, "My lord, how were you trapped in here?"
And Eli is like ready on Voidstain, just like very quietly, like weapons down.
Voidstain, you can tell he's trying to pull the trigger, but his finger is shaking so badly that he can't really muster any. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. This is really bad.
I agree. So no sudden moves.
Yeah, he's just shaking in his nightgown.
And Valentyne's going to move past and then just turn to Eli and just say, "Take his gun." And then
And Eli, yeah, absolutely. From this man's shaking hand, Eli is not shaking.
and then he'll just say to the Marine, "My lord, how were you trapped here?"
What? You're going to have to speak out. My ears, they do not work properly.
"My lord, how were you trapped here?"
That's better. And then we can just talk in normal. Well,
thank
but
God.
understand
Okay, I'll
that
assume
we're
I'm
all
yelling.
yelling.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
From the editor, God, please.
Yeah. He just says, "My name is Tank. This is Trevor. We crashed here long ago, and unfortunately, the locals did not take kindly to me or my compatriots. I came in this room looking for a piece of, I cannot remember, but ancient technology, valuable technology. We needed it to get back to our legion, get back to the beautiful terrors of the warp. But unfortunately, I was too slow, and they locked me in here. I should never have taken off my gloves. I could not punch out. Trevor, he's been trying to help me escape, but I am so weak now. And the things that used to drive me, the feelings, I cannot feel them anymore. I don't know what to do. Trevor, you tell him the rest." And he just holds the helmet up. And he keeps nodding along, being like, "Yes, this is a valid point. I did forget that, yes. It's important."
Yeah, and Valentyne's just going to keep looking at the helmet, and he's going to be nodding as though he's listening. And then he's just going to look over to Attikus and just give a nod. And then he's going to look back to the helmet and nod and just really hope he doesn't have to say to kill this Marine. That Attikus gets that now is the time.
Yeah, it's the nod is like, this is a lot for Attikus in this moment. The nod, there's a beat of like, oh, nothing else is happening. He wants me to do something. Oh, yeah, okay. And then,
What is it that I do?
Yeah. Attikus pulls no punches. He is going to attempt to utterly destroy this Space Marine. The nod from Valentyne, he just basically turns that into permission to go absolutely fucking ape shit on someone. First time opportunity he's had in weeks and weeks and weeks. And this is, as he's learned, a fallen fucking angel. And so he just screams and is just jackhammering his fist over and over and over again until he hears the order to stop, because he doesn't know what a dead Space Marine looks like.
Okay. So, Tyler, let's roll some dice.
Okay.
Fuck. The fuck?
Okay, so I believe your power fist is melee heavy.
I think we treat it as melee light. We said
Right.
two-handed stuff
Yeah.
would be melee heavy.
Right,
Yeah.
right, okay. So obviously that's the skill we're going with. So that and brawn, it's a close combat attack. So that's 2 purple. Your target is prone, so I'll give you a boost. I'll also give you the equivalent of an aim boost because you've been aiming your fist
Okay.
above this guy.
That's
for-
another boost then?
Yeah.
Okay,
For
thank
some
you.
time. I'm going to spend a story point to make this harder.
I would also like to spend a story point.
Understandably. And I think that's honestly it. I don't really know that there's much else we can argue for here.
I could say, could we throw him an extra boost because Valentyne has been listening to his story and has the Marine's eye contact? They're both looking at the helmet.
Oh yeah, Trevor's doing a lot of talking. So
Exactly.
yeah. Trevor's monologuing right now. So yeah, okay.
I will also say the only reason Valentyne is ready to go this quick fast is this Marine seems like an idiot, and he's aware that the cogitators of a Marine suit are in the helmet. So he actually doesn't need the Marine if the helmet has anything in it. That's his only source of trustworthy information.
So that's another boost then from the distraction, if I'm hearing you correctly? Okay.
They're both just enraptured in what Trevor is saying.
Sure, yeah, whatever. Okay. Attikus has his dice pool then. Let it rip.
Yep.
Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 successes followed by 3 advantages. And if no one says stop, Attikus is going to attack again.
Okay, that's the wrong stat block. And how much damage does your Power Fist do?
17 damage. Crit 2.
Right, but it's not good against armor, right?
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
We finally looked those up. It has pierce, I think, 20.
No, I make the jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you hit him and just like crunch through this very damaged Marine armor. And you feel like armor give way. It's like crunching a tin can. And blood just gushes out of his mouth as you crush internal organs. And he just goes, "Stop! Trevor, make him stop!" And
that's not the voice I'm waiting to say stop, so I continue.
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, and Valentyne has drawn his last pistol and is just shooting this motherfucker in the face. Just everybody's in,
I mean,
put it
then
down.
Eli lost,
Eli like
just
an
like-
Old West cowboy with revolvers.
yeah, he's like Eli's like flanking so he doesn't fire at Attikus. Like,
Right. All right. So if we're going to coup de grace town, Morgan, you want to get in on this murder?
I think I just have the
You take Eli's pipe. He had that originally, and he handed it to you.
No, we had another gun in the carriage that wasn't her rifle. It was a
hunting rifle.
Hunting
hunting
rifle.
rifle.
Yeah, so a crappy rifle.
Would you have carried that in, even past people who could see you carry it?
I guess I don't have anything. And we'll all right, I'll take a pipe then. I'll try it out.
There's one boot that's just getting
I'll get a piece of this.
I fully also believe Morgan just standing back because in your survivalist mentality, like, I wouldn't put it past
I think
you.
if anything, then I think Morgan is just looking around in the room more to like try and find out more information while everyone is shooting this Marine.
Cool. Collectively, you rain hell down on a man yelling, "Stop it! Stop it!" Until he stops yelling it anymore.
Yep.
Trevor.
Attikus continues.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Valentyne will take a blade and sever the head off the body and then call,
Okay,
stop.
yeah. And at the order to stop, even then, Attikus like punctuates with like,
Traitor! Great. One more smash. And Voidstain, I think, is just with trembling hands, just holding bullets out to Eli the whole time, like pulling bullets out of his pockets and just like handing you bullets. Trevor falls from the Marine's hand, bounces once and is still. And there is silence yet again in the crypt. For the first time in a long time, there is no tapping on the walls of Bolonsong Manor.
Valentyne will pick up the helmet because that's coming with him because he wants to get into that system and see if there are any records of actual mission information, because world eaters tend to lose their minds completely, but members of their crew can't be quite as crazy because they still need to ship to work. So there's a chance something was uploaded in terms of information. And he's just going to take Voidstain and steer him into this tiny cell over the body of a Marine with the helmet in his hands and say, "Lord Voidstain, it's time for us to have a conversation."
Okay.
yeah, buddy. Yeah.
We have a great deal of information that suggests that you are in fact the one who killed Lady Guinevere Bolonsong and that you are playing a most dangerous game to take over this world at the side of Duke Wixthrop.
What? No, I would of course like to marry the Duke and redeem my family's name and maybe make things better on this planet, but I didn't kill Lady Guinevere. I mostly wanted to know if she was harboring chaos elements in her basement, and look at that.
I'm going to be honest. This is one of the reasons we're having this conversation instead of us, let's just say,
Murdering me?
Yes, punching you to death and making it look like the Marine did it. Okay, so... And he just lays it, because I could do a 5-minute monologue laying out all the facts, but I think it's a lot easier to be like, these are the things we have heard. These are the people who've spoken against you. This is the work we've done to chase through. Here's the evidence. Here's the photo of the guy at your gates who's the one who was behind this assassination. Here's the payment I can track to you. Here's so we can put this all together. Like, every single thing in the world suggests that you were behind this from every single person in this room.
And he looks fucking horrified. Just deer in the headlights.
Yeah, and just be like, so I'm going to need you to explain how this isn't you. Because right now you seem like the cleverest heretic ever, and we just prevented you from getting a World Eater Marine to fight alongside you.
And he looks at you, and his face is unreadable. It's doing a Matthew Broderick in close-up level of nonsense. Can you roll perception, please?
Yes, I can.
I would give you setbacks for the darkness, but, robo eyes.
Great. What's the difficulty on this one?
I'm going to say difficulty. You're really good at reading people, so I'm going to say 2.
Okay.
No, I'm going to say 1. This is very much your element. I think someone having large emotional reactions is not something that would faze you or be difficult to read past.
Okay.
So yeah, difficulty 1.
I want to say a boost for my theory that I believe he's innocent, a setback for the evidence.
Yeah,
which is that he's guilty.
Yep.
Alrighty, let's go for it. Let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
5 successes.
Okay. Inexplicably, it looks like you're trying to figure out what his expression is, and then you realize he's trying to hold back laughter, and finally he just breaks out into like vaguely hysterical laughter. And he says, okay, well, if you need some evidence, sir, it's that. And he just points at the bag of gold. He's like, where the fuck do you think I would have money like that? Have you seen? And he like just gestures at his clothes. He gestures at himself.
I was to say, I do remember his manor, which sucked. Yeah.
Yeah. He just like, he proceeds to go on like a full like unhinged Steve Martin at the end of a Steve Martin film rant where he's just like, I live in a house that looks like a fucking onion. I can't afford new clothes. I can't look at my fucking guns. Look at how sad these, are you fucking kidding me, man? And he just like goes off on the money piece, and he points at the guy and he said, okay, you want to know how easy it would be to buy one of my servants? I can barely afford to pay them. You think I really inspire that much loyalty? They're going to go around murdering people for me? They're probably going to fucking murder me.
All right, this seems definitively true to me. Does anyone else have any concerns about this being falsehood?
And he's like, yeah, I followed Guinevere around because I was worried about this. And he's just like gesturing at the floor
Yes.
wildly. He's like, there's chaos everywhere, and I was just trying to fucking stop it, and no one listened to me because my family were a bunch of chaos-worshipping assholes. And then this one comes along and flashes her fucking leash signs at me, and I'm like, look out, that's fucking heresy. And then all of you are like, no, we're going to fucking kill you, man. And all I'm trying to do is stop chaos. And maybe marry a handsome boy.
Yes, like I said before, this is generally the vibe I got.
I'm so confused, sir. This right here, this mess that I just made, that's what I know. Everything else is uncharted waters to me, sir.
Correct. All right. So, Sakatua, I fully believe that you are innocent, as ultimately does the Lord. I'm in charge of the investigation, which means you are being quite thoroughly framed and set up to be executed for what is going on.
Thank you.
That's a very pleasant thank you, but we're going to need to solve this for you very quickly, because this means you're the one legitimate person who is around. So, I'm going to delete certain evidence and not report it. At this point, the money will eliminate Sakatur as a suspect. That's what we're going to rely on. We found this payment. That's what's moving forwards. We need to get our hands on that guard. We need to get back to your property, and we need to hand them. We've also been told that there is something heretical in your home, which makes me highly suspect that it has been placed there specifically to frame you and you're not aware, which means we need to get to the house and we need to remove it. Also, this needs to go. I don't know what we're doing with it. I don't know if we should tell the king. Frankly, no. I'm beginning to think the royalty is entirely involved in this. Do we hide the body or do we report the body? What is everyone's feeling on this? Not you, Sakatur. You're just unfortunately in this room right now.
He
I
just
see
edges out and stands politely outside to let you guys talk.
2 options. We get rid of it and continue with our investigation. Or we leak the information and see who responds. And maybe draw out whoever's guilty. It'll accelerate their plans. I don't know.
But we don't know who trapped this body here. I'm trying to figure out if there's any way that this comes back negatively on us. We've destroyed a Marine.
Someone's aware of this. That wall says that someone knows that this Marine is here.
I will say that's an old fucking wall. It's just not as old as the other wall. So it's not like a fresh brick. This is like, if you imagine ancient brick and then slightly less ancient brick.
Oh, okay, but still like hundreds, maybe thousands years.
Hundreds, probably, yeah.
Okay,
the
well
best
then
evidence you
scratch
have
that.
is the old floor above this space, but you get the sense that was literally like, oh, we don't want the shitty downstairs anymore. We're building on top of it.
I think I have it. I think it came to me. We need to box this body up. We need to keep this with us. We need to solve this mystery tonight. We need to figure out who our top suspect is. Because right now, we have just found the body that Lord Van Houten is going to deliver to the Duke Wixthrop during the hunt. You want to bring in Ehrlich? That's one choice. You want to bring down a large bird? That's another. You want to bring in a World Eater's Space Marine corpse? You win the hunt.
Oh, that's quite good, sir. Is it still recognizable as a World Eater?
Shoulder pauldron.
Yeah,
okay?
there's a crushed pauldron, but
it's there. We've got the helmet.
It's
so
just
it
like
means
a flat, like a comically flat World Eater. Yeah.
we are in a race against time, friends. This helmet needs to be brought to Teseus right now. Is Toby here?
Yeah.
Outside, I mean.
Outside, yes.
Comes through her micro.
In the porch. I've been keeping lookout on the front of the residence.
We'll send this with Toby to be delivered to Teseus. Teseus can then go through, hack his way in, and find whatever information we can possibly have. If we can include it with the body, all the better. If we can't, we leave it at the house. We box up this body and make sure that it is shipped back to our manor currently. Then we go to Voidstain Manor. We need to figure out what is behind this wall, and we need to make it disappear, as well as figuring out where it was sourced from.
Yeah, Voidstain, it's a wall. That's what I've been told. To go to your house, find a wall, likely in your basement. You know anything about that?
I will, to my great shame, admit I don't spend much time outside of my personal quarters. The place is a bit of a dump.
Oh, someone's definitely planted something in your house then.
My only concern is if the conspirators are moving faster than we are, that they could arrest Sakatua when we bring him back to his property. I don't believe that will happen, but there is a chance.
Respectfully, sir.
Yeah, just come in. This part involves you now.
Respectfully, sir, none of this works if someone can't win the Duke Wixthrop's favor. It means no one would become an heir. And though I've been more curious about the chaos threat to the planet, many others would, even the ones who are doing the killing, I presume would still need to participate in the events. King Frederick is nothing if not fond of pageantry, so it would seem to me that they can only move so quickly because they still have to participate in the hunt and the show of art. Unless they're all dead, in which case, I don't know, it's probably fine.
You are, and I mean this is the highest compliment, growing on me in a very impressive way.
Thank you.
We need to get to that manor and clean this up. The body will be boxed up. We'll box it up ourselves. Right now, find something in the next chamber. Eli, Clarence, whatever you need. You didn't hear that. He just says whatever you need, put it in a box. We can have it shipped by other people, but it needs to be chained shut. I'm not willing to ask anyone to forget seeing this. Then we go to the manor. Take this to Toby, and he just delivers the helmet because that shit's got to get flown out immediately.
She will take that upstairs.
Before you do, Morgan, you wanted to take a look around the room. I'll assume, based on the coup de grace, like when you were certain that it was dead, quick look around the room.
Yeah, I think it was probably just standing, in terror, and then wanting to look at anything but this dead body.
So give me a, I'd say either perception or honestly streetwise, given your, again, like it depends how you're approaching this. Are you actively investigating or you're just kind of giving it the once over?
Yeah, I think it's just perception. It's just if she's she wasn't looking directly into the heat of that battle.
Yeah, didn't want to look at the Chaos Space Marine anymore. That's fair.
No.
That's fair.
And then the difficulty?
I'm going to say 4 because it's fucking old and musty down here.
That's fine.
And you're also dealing with some emotional fallout from
completely, yeah.
Chaos Space Marines.
What?
Cool.
Okay, and I'm just going to roll it straight then.
Yep.
1 success, 3 threats.
Okay. So looking around down here, it really does look like this place was cleared out a long time ago. I think the most important thing that you determine from kind of your moment looking around is that there hasn't been anyone down here in ages.
So
Nothing's
it
been
really is
disturbed.
nobody's seen any of it.
It literally, if you were to venture a guess, and I mean, you made the comment earlier about knowing about people living in walls and things.
Yep.
If you were to venture a guess, he's been down here long enough that people actively didn't tell the next generation what was down here and instead just like moved on from this space over time. So that actually knocks a couple of like possible fears off your list because it's just like the fact that people have been like, oh, there's been a ghost down here for a long time. It's just like that story seemed to have kind of covered it. But also more importantly, no one's been down here to check on them. No one's been looking around. The fact that there was like an old bookshelf that hadn't been disturbed in front of them, all this yields good benefit. So you're able to ascertain this is an old part of the manor and likely.
Yeah. And I think just turning to Valentyne and, sir, I think as long as the floor that we found that was fake is returned, people will continue to just consider this part of their ghost story and not come looking down here.
Excellent. Once we box this up, we'll bring this out with us and we'll replace the bookshelves and other items that we removed. We don't need them to remain distracted for long. We're looking to buy at least 4 or 5 days. Frankly, we can order them to stay out of the lower levels and we'll pass that along as an order of the executor.
Sounds perfect. And she's going to go upstairs. And while she's on the way upstairs, do a long distance call on like, Terseus, I have a package that you need to pick up on the rear end of the residence.
Sure. So Terseus was at your
at the
place.
Van
Is it
Yeah,
Houten
he was
estate.
at the Van Houten estate. He was looking into trying to figure out who that guy was and anything else that was going on. So he was already on the
was
third
doing
floor
research.
just hanging out. So
Right. I'm sorry. So you're radioing ahead to tell him that it was coming.
the bird's
to him.
coming with a helmet.
Yes,
yeah.
I understand. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were like, hey, come around back. I'm
No,
like,
no. I just like want
Longwood.
him to be outdoors so I can deliver a bird
Oh,
to
there's
him.
fully a Juliet balcony.
Oh,
that he
perfect.
could
He
like
can
stand
come out on the
off of and
balcony.
just stand there like watching the sky.
Yeah, and we will send a bird with a helmet to him.
Great. All right. So with that, you're able to pack up and head back.
Yeah, Attikus is assembling a messy corpse and just all the pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is there's still a lot of old storage stuff down here, so it's probably easy enough to find like an old musty box.
Yeah. How badly did we kill this guy? Did we ship him in like 2 boxes?
No, it'd be probably just one box because
Okay.
the catch is like he's still in Space Marine armor. You just
Got it.
Like he just didn't. It was damaged and he didn't move.
Yeah.
So like your very difficult fight became a very easy fight. But Space Marine armor is still Space Marine armor. So
Sure,
even though you
yeah.
like punch the shit out of him,
Okay.
again he's like a crunched up thing. But
I was going to say, Space Marine bones are even ceramite reinforced. Through the stuff that they eat, the
okay.
armor material
Wow.
is built into their skeleton.
yeah, so you're really just
That's
dragging
nuts. Okay.
like it's almost like a crushed car. You're dragging
Okay.
like a flattened car.
Okay.
But the head came off.
Yeah.
Separate boxer head.
What, are you gonna fucking send it
Yeah.
to Brad Pitt to make him
We can
Raph?
set the head in
Yeah.
the torso. You know, so it fits in the box
in the
efficiently.
cave.
What's in the
Yes.
box?
We found a 7-foot box, and now the 8-foot tall guy fits in the 7-foot tall box. It all comes
Perfect, it's
together.
perfect.
There we go. It's those old math problems coming together.
Valentyne would also, with his data slate with Eugene, he would get photos of the armor, any specific markings on it. There may be additional information he can give Terseus in regards to like what era was this? Was there a specific crusade? Is there forbidden inquisitorial knowledge that has this? Odds of that, he's also aware, are tremendously low. We don't have access to the libraries, but he is allergic to leaving evidence that could be useful later behind. And he's aware they're going to lose this body pretty soon.
Yep, fair enough. Okay, so you box up your leftovers, you get your Space Marine doggy bag, and you make your way back upstairs. Luckily, again, you have full run of this place, so everyone just assumes you're taking stuff out.
Yep. Put the bookshelf back in place. We have the doors locked. Relay the orders that nobody goes downstairs.
Sure, yep. And like again, you don't need to tell Velma twice. Like she hears, "Don't go downstairs," and that's the law now. So you load the box up on top of the carriage, and you're heading back to Voidstain Manor, correct? All right. Do you want to radio ahead, knowing that there are leaks in his place, or do you just want to show up and try and
Show up.
get the guy? All right. Is there anything you want to discuss en route? This time, he is not chatty. He is 1,000 yards staring out the window because this is much worse than what he thought was down there.
You're driving, I assume? Are we still playing that?
I'm
ruse?
driving, but I'll be calmed in so I can hear
Okay.
what's going on and be a part of the conversation. But Voidstain be the only person who couldn't hear me.
Yeah. Honestly, Morgan could drive instead because she's going to communicate as soon as Terseus gets that package. She'll have to give him a couple notes on like what you know, not specifics over the airwaves, but just like, please look into that package that I delivered to you. Information.
Morgan drive. That makes sense. So Valentine's inside. All right.
And you just get back from Draceus. Oh, fuck. Oh.
Thank you for your service.
Just clicks off. Just like exhausted. He's like, also, I have determined the identity of the servant for you. Turns out he does work, in fact, for Voidstain. And like gives you a general description, like, and he's like, so there you go.
Yeah. And since Morgan is sitting up top, the relief from having done all that, and she's very tired, is like, Terseus, thank you so much. This will blow the investigation wide open, and you are just such a treasure on our team. Thank you.
You can't see the tears, but you can hear them. And he says, thank you, Captain. That is very good to hear. I am happy to be of service.
Thank you, and I appreciate your swift work with that new present I gave you.
I will dive in immediately. That is what the calf is for.
Thank you.
So lucky he spoke to you instead of Attikus or Eli about, like, I know who the guy is.
Yeah, he got the most complimentary thing from Morgan, which shows how much she's growing as a person.
She's working on it.
It's weird because your mask and your actual personality are having to merge, where it's like Bar Morgan and like Secret Morgan are becoming the same Morgan.
We're taking bits and pieces that work from both. Yeah.
So, we need to take this conspirator alive, if at all possible. I'm hoping Toby, after dropping off the gift, could join us at the Voidstain estate, Morgan?
Was that coming through?
Yeah, he's got that bouncing around.
Yes, I will have that happen. It will take a bit of time, but flight is fast.
Robert, Morgan is someone else, right? Someone.
The spy master back at our house.
Yeah.
That's who I'm coming through.
Right. I forgot about
No problem. All right, so we have that in place. We need to take this co-conspirator alive. Hopefully Toby, as our most, less lethal weapon, could assist us with that process. Is there a way you believe we could isolate our candidate in a way that would at least leave them unarmed or without friends who would be able to rescue them?
Well, I don't have very many staff, and they're all run a little bit ragged, so I suppose I could just call him in and demand some answers about an unrelated matter, perhaps the hunt. I've asked them all to think about what the best animal I could shoot is, and so far none of them have come back with anything other than an ehrlich, and I frankly don't think I can bag an ehrlich. So I can just come in and demand some answers from that, and then he'll show up, and you can be like, "Get fucked, sir." Would that work?
Frankly, yes, as long as we can bring Toby inside, that'll be excellent. Let's do that. I would say let's bring in 2 other servants and bring in our candidate as the third, so that seems like it's a regular part of the goings-on.
Okay, do you want me to bring them in one at a time?
Yes, I believe that would be wise.
Okay, honestly, I do need to speak to them about the hunt, so I don't have a box to deliver, you know?
Perfect. So we'll have you bring them in. We'll be with you, perhaps in a sitting room where you could have these conversations, but be ready for action as required. And once we have arrested this candidate, we can send them outside, perhaps with Clarence. Would you be willing to supervise the prisoner as necessary?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Then Clarence and...
With his 2 pistols that he has commandeered.
Clarence will supervise that, and the 3 of us shall move forwards with Lord Voidstain to ensure that the basements don't contain anything heretical.
Very good. I approve of this plan as the Lord.
Excellent. Excellent. Great, that's the plan.
All right. So it's again like the middle of the night. You guys have been at this a long time. The carriage is pulling along, and as you sort of start to get closer to Voidstain Manor, there's a light in the distance, and Voidstain just kind of leans out and says, Oh, balls, my house. And in the distance, you can see flickering flames as Voidstain Manor burns in the distance.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Ryan LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Laura Hamstra, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia De Los Hoodless, Diophasis, Squishy Werewolf, Remy, Funky Head, Nomad, the Wise Paladin of the Badlands, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, Gus Schreider, Drama, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.